Welcome back to This is a Commander channel, where this is a Commander channel, and today I'm going to be talking about Commander, Tough Rules, and Cool Interactions, Episode 9. This episode is going to be the first part in a series focusing on strange things involving the combat phase, and I'm going to start this series off with one of the most common issues I see people dealing with, which is what happens when a creature with Death Touch and Trample is blocked by a creature. And I'm not going to only just answer that scenario in this episode, but go a little deeper and discuss other abilities like Death Touch, Double Strike, and Trample swinging into Indestructible and Protection From. This is going to be a pretty wordy episode, and your eyes might start to glaze over at how many times I repeat some of the same words. So I'll provide a little transcript down below in the video description in case you just want to follow there. So scenario 1, a 5/5 Trample attacks into a blocking 2/2 with Indestructible or Protection From. In this case, we'll go with Protection From green, as our attacker is going to be a green creature. Now, in this case, you'll assign the 2 damage to the blockers, since they've got 2 toughness, and then 3 damage to the defending player. The player will take the 3 damage in both cases, but for the creature, it will take 2 for the one that has Indestructible, but not die because of the indestructibility, and then the one with Protection will prevent the damage from happening. This case, pretty easy. Now, scenario number 2. A 5/5 Trample and Death Touch is attacking into a blocking 2/2 Indestructible or Protection From green. And in this case, the game will see the 1 Death Touch damage as lethal damage to the creatures when you're assigning it. So the player will take 4 damage from the Trample in both cases, but for the creature, it will only take 1 damage for the Indestructible creature, and then not die because of indestructibility again. And then the one with Protection will actually prevent the damage from happening as the damage would have actually been happening. And then we're going to get a little more complicated. Scenario number 3. A 5/5 Trample, Death Touch, and Double Strike attacks into a blocking 2/2 Indestructible or Protection From green. In this case, during the first strike combat damage step, you will assign 1 damage to the blocker and 4 damage to the defending player, as the game will see the 1 Death Touch damage as considered lethal damage to the creatures. The player will take the 4 damage, and the creature for Indestructible will take the 1 damage, but again, the ability from Indestructibility will stop it from dying, and the creature with Protection will just take no damage. As a replacement effect, it just will be prevented. And then you're going to go to the non-first strike combat damage step, and the exact same 4 damage and 1 damage split will happen. 1 damage to the player, 4 damage to the player, 1 damage to the creatures. The indestructibility will stop the creature from dying. It still takes the 1 damage though, and the prevention will happen for the Protection From green, and no damage will be dealt to the creature. So in both of these cases, the defending player will take a total of 8 damage. Now we start getting a little tricky. All right, so scenario 4, a 5/5 Trample, Death Touch, and Double Strike attacks into a blocking 1/1 Indestructible. And in this case, things are going to get, like I said, a little more interesting. During the first strike combat damage step, you'll assign 1 damage to the blocker, and then 4 damage to the defending player, as the game will see the 1 Death Touch damage as lethal damage to the creatures. But the player will take the 4, and the creature will take the 1 for the indestructibility. Again, the ability is going to stop it from dying, and the creature with Protection will take no damage. Then you're going to go to the non-first strike combat damage step, and things are going to be a little different from the previous scenario. Only for the indestructible creature. The game will see that the indestructible creature with 1 toughness, again it's a 1/1, has already been dealt 1 damage, which the game considers to have been lethal. So you will assign 0 damage to that creature, and then 5 damage to the defending player. In the situation involving the 1/1 blocker with Protection, the game will see it as having taken no damage yet because it was prevented. So you'll still end up having to assign the 1 damage to it. and the 4 to the player. So in this situation, with it being a 1-1, the damage that the player ends up taking is going to be 5 plus 4 for the indestructible, and 4 plus 4 for the protection, so a difference of 9 and 8 damage. So yeah, that concludes this first video in the series focused on combat phase. I hope it's all made sense. I also hope that I didn't make any errors in all this with all the different variables. A future revisit on this episode, on this topic, might also add in some things like how Infect will interact with all these different abilities. So yeah, that'll be interesting for the future. Also, I want to remind you that this is a new channel, so I would appreciate it if you did fill out the survey linked down in the video description, gave me some feedback on this video, let me know what you liked, let me know what you disliked. Also, please ask any questions in that little survey as to any rules, interactions, and such that you would like for me to make videos in the future. Also, feel free to ask those kind of questions in the video description or the video comment section down below, as I can respond to those as well or use them for future video ideas. So yeah, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video and maybe even learned something to help improve your Commander games. Have a good one. Ta-ta.